Hello.
How are you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. How are you?
Not, thank you very much giving me opportunity to interview you for my YouTube channel and podcast and for my channels.
Yeah. No, thank you. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I've been following you for a while, and yeah, I really admire what you're doing. It's quite unique, and so it's good to see what you're doing, and it's good to see that your channel is growing, and yeah, such diverse people as well. It's really empowering to see that from you. So excellent. Thank you for inviting me.
And the work that you're doing also starts with empowering.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, it's all about empowerment, right?
Yeah. So I have gone through a profile. I can see you're doing a lot of work. So I thought to tell about your work to my audience.
Yes. Okay.
So can you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Sure. Okay. So my name's Matt Little. I'm originally from the UK. I'm a psychotherapist, trained in the UK, and I've been working in the field for around 15 years. And for the last 8 years, I've been living in Indonesia. I'm married here, and um, this is my passion. It's not just something that we do that is a job and brings in an income. It's a passionate thing, and so coming here and being able to set something up that helps individuals here is really important. Oh,
You're from?
sorry, I didn't get that. Say that again.
You're from?
I'm from the UK, United Kingdom.
Great. You're a psychotherapist, and your company name is
Yeah, so the company name is Empowering Awareness Counseling and Consultancy. And so we set this up in Indonesia in order to, fill the market. We recognized that there was a lot of people here that didn't really understand what counseling was, or it just wasn't part of, of what was available here, or, and the people that knew about it didn't really understand what it was. So again, it became a passion to be able to get people to identify and understand what counseling is and to be able to offer support. So this came about because of that. We work very closely with a charity here called Shuffle and Strides that raise money for mental health awareness, and we are their advocate for mental health. So we provide free seminars on mental health awareness training for individuals in Indonesia. So if you're an Indonesian citizen, you can come for free. It's a certified course. It's run over 2 days, and people come there with very limited understanding of mental health issues within themselves, within friends and family, and they walk away with a deeper understanding. And it's really amazing to see. You see people that not really, they realize there's something wrong, but they just don't know what it is, and they don't know what to do about it. So from that, suddenly we're able to shine a light on what that is and help people. And from that, we're able to then offer counseling for people that are in need, people that need it. And again, it's incredibly empowering to see people grow. So,
great. So you're being the reason for the positive change in the world.
yes, yes. Yeah, I mean we're in a Indonesia itself is what's known as a collectivistic society. So it's more about the community and less about the individual. So people, there's a lot of shame attached to mental health. There's very little understanding. So for us to be able to open the door to that understanding and people to connect with themselves, on an individual basis is incredible. It's really amazing to see.
And what kind of support that you give?
Okay, so here at Empower and Awareness, we have counselors and psychologists that work here. So what we offer here is counseling. So the client will come through either through a seminar, a mental health awareness training course, and they will come here and our Indonesian counselors will support them on a one-to-one. So it's what we call person-centered therapy. And so it's like people will come in and you know, in that room we create a safe space for them, and so somebody will come in and they will feel safe and able to explore, you know, what's going on for them and be able to work through things in an environment where they know they're not being judged, they're not being shamed. And so again, it's an incredible thing, and many people that come here have never experienced that before. So there's this almost this kind of feeling of like, well, we don't know what it is, and there's a fear attached to that. And to come here, be in a safe environment where they know they're not being judged, they know that, you know, it's confidential, and they can talk about their issues, they can talk about their problems, and they can find solutions to their problems. You know, and what we're doing is we're offering that education. You know, we're able to give that to people, and so suddenly they've been feeling all of these things, and they felt that they've not been able to express themselves, or they've not been able to talk about it openly, and suddenly they're able to, and there's some huge relief in that. You know, there's some huge closure around issues. There's some huge change that comes from that.
Great. You have been in this industry more than 20 years. Can you tell a little bit about your background and how it started and as a psychotherapist and what made you to support humanity in this way?
Sure. So I've been in this industry over 15 years, not quite 20 yet, but what my start was in the UK. I was my background is you know, I had a traumatic childhood. I was you know, at an early age I was into drugs and you know, addiction. It was my way of coping with, you know, with the things that I didn't know how to deal with. So many issues that I had to keep to myself, and I struggled with, and so I found the only coping mechanism that was available to me, that I found some where I could just numb myself to the pain that I was going through. And I came through that, you know, and it took many years to find my way through that. And as I came into recovery and I started to look at it, you know, what happened to me and how I felt and the empathy that I had for myself that I'd never had before. And so I wanted to give back. You know, I wanted to be able to help others because I knew that if I'd gone through this, and you know, I didn't know that there was anything out there to help me, then there must be other people in the same position as me. So you know, I started very early. As I started working in supported living, working with people with disabilities and mental health problems, because I suffered with mental health myself, you know, through my addiction. And and when I started to do that, I felt something back. You know, I was helping others, and it was, you know, and what I got from that was amazing too. You know, I felt good about myself for the first time ever, and so I was able to then think, right, well, how can I enhance this? So that's where I began my journey into counseling. And I spent 4 years in the beginning, starting to went through all the training in the UK, and you know, to become a counselor. And it just evolved from there. And I think that, you know, training is something that we're constantly doing. So I continue to learn and train, you know, throughout my career until this point.
So, uh, so what kind of problems people come with and how they find solution for it?
Yeah. So again, this is what we call talk therapy. So people come with such an array of problems and issues, and it can be from, you know, from his, you know, from one extreme to the other. It can be from the extremes of traumatic events that have happened to them, It can be things that they're struggling with their sexuality. It could be marriage problems. There's just such an array, and the thing is about what we don't understand is that, when we think about trauma, we see it as this big thing of a huge traumatic event, but actually, it's based around, things that impact us. It's not the event, it's how it impacts us. So, one man's trauma may be, not to another, as it were. So each person comes in as an individual. They may come with an addiction or a problem to substances or a problem with gambling or something like that. But actually, when a person comes in, we don't look at the problem that they come with. We look at the individual. They're a person. And so we look at it holistically. We look at the whole person. And so we're able to then help and support them. So they get this space where they're able to talk and they're able to offload. And that in itself is such a huge thing when people have been holding on to this stuff for so long and they don't know what to do with it. So, so it's all about the relationship. And of course, our counselors are highly skilled and qualified. And so, they're able to give that education around, what's actually happening to the person. We look at so many different areas. We look at the neuroscience of what's going on in the brain. We look at the autonomic nervous system. So we look at what's going on in the body. And we connect them together. So it's like, sometimes we go through events and they've affected us and we didn't really understand how, but what we did understand is something's happening in the body. So it could be anxiety, for instance, and we don't know why. Suddenly our body is shutting down or it's becoming, our heart rate's going up, and in the moment we don't really understand what's happening, but it's quite often it's attached to a previous event. And so we get people to a place of understanding of those events and mapping them all out so that they can get to a point of realizing that when their body starts to react, they understand why it's reacting. And so we can actually help to calm the body back down, calm the nervous system back down. And, and that in itself creates a huge relief for people, because they had no understanding. So how can they, change what's happening physically to them without the understanding of what's happening to them? And suddenly when they understand, there's such a huge relief. It's magical to see. It really is.
So, as an expert, how much time it takes for you to understand what exactly they are going through and what is making them feel so?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think, it's a good question to ask, Si, because everybody's different, and some people may come with a presenting problem and or a presenting issue, and then, that's not really the what's really going on. There's stuff underneath that. So sometimes you can, somebody can come in and say they're talking about, or they're feeling anxious or they're feeling depressed, and again, we're not looking at the depression, we're not looking at the anxiety, we're looking at the whole person. Okay, so where does this come from? So it's a hard question to ask. Sometimes people will come in and you'll be like, oh yeah, I can see the issue here, I can see what's going on. But actually, what we do, which is what the empowering part is that we don't tell anybody, okay, so this is what's wrong with you and this is what you need to do to change. We empower the person to work through these things themselves. We're the vessel to that. We're able to sit there with them and until they get the light bulb moments themselves. So, somebody may come in and, with, say, an alcohol problem. We would never say, oh, you're addicted to alcohol. We would kind of work through with that person until they understand, well, actually, I drink too much, or, actually, it's much worse than that, and I'm not drinking for pleasure. I'm drinking to self-medicate to numb myself from the pain that I'm really suffering. So it's very difficult to say, when a client comes in, they could be, just saying that they're having problems in their marriage. But then when we start to kind of go down through the layers suddenly we realize that there's been patterns there that have been been happening for multiple decades sometimes, and which there's no awareness of. But people are going through cycles, they're going through relationships, breakups and going into the same relationship again with somebody else. And so again, it's finding that what that is within that person or empowering them to find it. Because, as individuals, we're experts on ourselves. So, we've got a problem, we've got something going on that we're unsure what it is. So we come to see an expert, but actually, you yourself are the expert. And so our job ultimately is to find that within you. And that's the empowering thing. There's,
So,
yeah.
yeah, go on.
Well, it's because when say if I'm in a room with a white coat on, I look like a doctor, or no disrespect to any doctors, by the way, but it's really somebody, you say to somebody, right, this is what's wrong with you, and this is what you need to do to change it. You're going to be hit with resistance because somebody may be, well, you don't know me, you don't really know me, you don't really know what's going on, you're just diagnosing me, or you're just, you're coming up with what you think it is. So you hit resistance within a client, within a person. And so when we work in the way that we work, and we just steer the ship. The person is the one that does the work, and the person is, the person is the one that comes to these big light bulb moments, as it were, within themselves. So, and that's where the transformation comes, because there's no resistance, because we lead them, to the understanding that they already have about themselves, and then we're able to help find the solutions within that, if that makes sense.
So each individual is different and they come from different backgrounds. They have different experiences and they will be from different professions.
Yes.
So how different it is and how tough it is for you to understand them and how much time and what kind of mechanisms that you use in order to make them come out of their negativity.
Yeah. So again, it's a really good question because again, it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. It doesn't matter how much wealth you have, how famous you are, how good you are in business. It doesn't matter if you've come off the street, whether you have nothing. It doesn't matter whether you have nowhere to live. Everybody is the same. We are individuals, and that's just that in itself is the powerful thing here, because everybody is treated as an equal. And so you leave all of that stuff at the door, and of course there's many modalities that we use, but ultimately it's about building that therapeutic relationship with a person, and whatever walk of life they are, it doesn't matter. In this space here, you're a human being, I'm a human being, and we're here to help each other, and I'm here to help you and support you through what you're going through right now. And that's the powerful thing about it.
So how different it is, giving support to one another.
Yeah. I mean, again, it can be very difficult, when you have a client that comes in and they just don't know how to talk. They don't know, they've never experienced this before. It can be incredibly difficult to get people to open up. But again, it's, we concentrate on the relationship. Just the relationship is the most important thing, because as you know, as soon as you feel comfortable with somebody, you let that guard down, and you're able to be you, and you're able to be yourself and talk through things. And quite often we find that people come in and they talk about stuff that they've never spoken about before. And I mean, for us as professionals, it's a humbling experience. We feel blessed to be in that. It's not like a job at times. It's like when people share some stuff with us, and they're like, I've never told anyone that before. I mean, how amazing is that they felt safe enough to be able to share this. So that's just beautiful. But it's also really rewarding. You know, it's rewarding for the client, it's rewarding for us. So yeah, the job is not an easy job to do if you call it a job, but and it may sound a bit corny, but it's not. It's a vocation, of course, but it's more of a passion. You know, people who do this don't do it for financial, income. They're not doing it to become rich. You know, they're doing it because they're passionate about doing it. They're passionate about giving back. And most people have a story, a backstory where they've been through stuff themselves. And I feel so strongly about that people that have had life experience, and been through things themselves are much more empathetic towards people that because they understand and the client understands that you understand. There's this unspoken, energy in the room. And I think that again, this is what we create. This is what we're about.
And how you make them open up themselves and tell what they are going through, and how you are able to create that kind of an environment where
Yeah.
they can able to feel safe and can able to express
Sure.
what
Sure.
they are going through.
Yeah. It's almost an unspoken thing. It's not something that you can train yourself to do. It's something that you just have. And it's called empathy. It's empathy and understanding. I mean, we go through all modalities and we learn, all the different things, but you almost just throw all that away, and it's about empathy. When you're in a room with somebody as an individual, and you're an individual, and you're on the same level together. We're not in a room being right. We're the expert. We're in the room we're a human being that's just here to help you. And that, I can't put that into words. I really can't put that into words. It's just something that you have, and it's something that you create, and I don't think you can learn that stuff. It's just a natural thing. And people just feel at ease when you're in a room like that. And some people it takes longer. Some people it's very quick. You can be in a room and somebody just feels that. And again, that's not something you can put in words. They just feel that and they feel safe. And then they just, they open up.
And can you share one of the unforgettable experience that you had with one of your clients in your entire experience?
Yeah, well, there's so many, and working in the field that I do, I have to be very careful, with confidentiality. So I have to be careful how I say anything because I wouldn't want it uh, somebody to come back and understand that I'm talking about them. So I wouldn't want to say about any individual case as such. But there's so many moments. There's so many moments where people have been going through these traumatic experiences for decades sometimes. They've been going through these patterns decades for sometimes with no real understanding. And it's like suddenly, they're in this room and we map it all out and they get to see the pattern and they get to see the behaviors associated with that. And they get to understand where the pain came from. They get to understand where the trauma came from. And then suddenly it's like this awakening. You just see this, it all just clicks together. And then, a client's just like, right, because the one thing that everybody wants to understand is why. Why do I act this way? Why do I present like this? Why do I? And so within that, when they get the why, in that moment, it's just literally you see the light switch on, and you see that change in the person, and that's it. From that moment, they're open to working on the issues, the presenting issues, because they've understood the why.
Great. And uh, and you might have worked with different clients, who is having a different kinds of problems. So so you're saying we all are humans and we have same things to happen. But uh, uh, how it is for you to listen to different kind of people who is looking at things in a different way, and who is correct and who is wrong, and who is going in a right way and who is going in a wrong way. How can you let them know that?
So again, when we're working with people, it's like whatever whatever their presenting problems are, whatever they're coming with, it's relevant to them, and so it could be from literally one end of the spectrum to the other of people that have gone through some really horrific events in their lives to someone who's having, issues within their relationships. Now, it it's the impacts on them are relevant to them. So again, it's not like, oh, we've got this person and they're in more need than this person. It's we work with that person as an individual. And so yeah, it makes no difference at all, what their presenting problem is or what they're coming with. I think to answer the question a bit more though, it's like some people, you're working through and you can see the change. They can see the change, and throughout the session or sessions, we review that with a client. What we do as a company is after 5 sessions with a client, then we will review, and see whether they need to continue, or whether they've got to a space where they feel that they've worked through the issues they have. And so, yeah, we're constantly reviewing, where a client's at. And what we also, need to know is our limitations. So if we're working with a client and we feel that it's not working, we feel that they're not achieving what they set out to achieve, then we would bring that to a session again and open that up and look, we don't feel that this is working. How do you feel? And if they're in a similar position, then we can also refer at that point. So we can refer to another psychologist, another counselor, or we can refer to another service. So yeah, so we're able to kind of plan all the way through how a client is going. Yeah.
So people who belongs to different places. So do you think they have they're coming with the same issues and can be solved in the same way? Since they are not coming from the same place, but they can be from different provinces.
Yeah. So I in my in my whole career, I've never had a person that's never moved. Some people move mountains, as it were. Some people make huge changes, and this is a life-changing thing for them. Other people, not so much. But I've never seen anybody that's not achieved from therapy, from counseling, from education around this stuff. It's time and time again, and over the years I've worked with hundreds of people, and it's everybody changes. Everybody, learns more about themselves. Everybody makes those connections that they've never made before. So I've never actually found, a position where somebody is not moved, or they've gone backwards even. It's huge change that happens. And that's all I've witnessed.
Why these mental issues are arising?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
But why these mental issues are arising?
Okay, why? So again, that's a huge question to answer. There's so many different reasons. Um, there's poverty for one. There's people that, especially if we talk about Bali. So we're in Bali right now. We've set up this company here for, to help people. And what we found here is a lot of people, Bali being a tourist destination, there's a lot of people that either come here to find themselves, and some people come here feeling that this is their last resort, and sometimes it doesn't work out that way for them. So there's huge mental health issues here from people that come in as tourists, or people that come in, to find themselves. But there's also a huge element of, which is where empowering awareness is helping more so, is the people that are coming in from different islands, from Java, from different areas of Indonesia. They come here to find work because they're in huge poverty crisis, and so they come here and whole families are relying on them, and so some people come here and they struggle. They don't find that work, or they don't find enough money to be able to send home, and that's huge pressure on people. So we've got that side of things where people are just feeling like there's no hope or very little hope. And so we're able to support and help people that are going through issues like that. But there's also underlying mental health issues, that people, of course, there's things like, anxiety, depression, but there's things like schizophrenia. There's so many different things out there, where people are struggling. There's bipolar. And here, as a whole in Indonesia, it's been very well known that, that people have not understood what these issues are. So, they've attached it to, to religion, or they've attached it to the fact of, that they're being punished. God is punishing them, or things like that, where it's so not true. This is problems that can be dealt with, and so again, it's educating people. It's being able to show that there's a different way of looking at things. It's not undermining what people think, but it's just giving them another perspective so that they can look at it from a place with less shame, and less like, we're being punished. This family member has got a disability, or this family member has got a mental health problem, and it's because shame has been brought upon us, and it's not true. So we're there to help people, and to shine a light on a different way, and that's through the education aspects of what we do. And our goal is to be able to take that out into the villages, into the wider areas of Bali and then Indonesia, to be able to shine a different light so that people can then make up their own minds, but with some more knowledge around what these problems are, and that there are things that can help, and sometimes that's medication, where, a psychiatrist is involved, or doctors involved, and somebody that, with schizophrenia, for example, would need medication for that. And suddenly this person that's been feared, in the village or in the family, suddenly, is woken up and become a member of society again. And so it's, by sending the message out there and bringing more education into areas that maybe haven't understood mental health, I think that's really important for us.
Uh, so, you have been in this industry for more than 15 years. So you have seen the evolution of humanity.
Yes.
And what is the change that you're observing with the internet and the technology evolution, and how that is impacting mental health of humans?
That's a very good question. So what I'm witnessing, I mean, social media in itself, it's a blessing and a curse. It's very good in by getting awareness out there, connecting people. But the other aspect to that is it's it is having an impact on people as well. When you look at things like Instagram, what do you see? You see the pictures of of people at their best. You see pictures of people on their exotic holidays, or dressed up for a night out, or whatever it is. So and what happens is when you're suffering with mental illness yourself, or whether you're suffering with low self-worth, then you look at those pictures and you see that's what other people's lives are like, and then you look at that and then you compare it to yourself, and so it's creating a lot of a lot of tension. It's creating a lot of low self-worth within people, And so I've seen that kind of escalate massively. You have people who are influencers, that are doing a great job at what they do, but also, people are looking at themselves and their lives and feeling that they're inadequate. They're never going to be, what they're seeing. They're never going to be that like that other person is that's being presented. But what we don't see is we don't see beyond the lens. People's lives are not all painted pictures, that are on social media. But the person who's got low self-esteem doesn't really see that in the moment. They just compare the best of them to the worst of themselves.
So, do you think, the world is changing and humans, that the mental issues are becoming more because of the technology?
I think I think technology is here to stay. Again, there's so much good that comes from it, but there is always an element of bad, and you could say that for everything in the world, really, right? But I think we have to move with the times. I think that as long as we can look at ourselves and we're using it in the right way, in the right context. I think that that's what makes a difference. If we're using it in the wrong way, then it can be damaging. And again, I think we could say that for other things, but actually, social media, technology, it's enhancing what we do. But the fear is that generationally people are going to get left out, people are going to get left behind, and so there's it does create a divide. So but it's here to stay, and we have to go along with technology to a point. But again, it's what we do with it personally. How do we use it? How do we make it so that it enhances us and it enhances the people around us? I think that's an important thing to know.
What age group people comes to you for the support?
Sorry, I didn't catch that again.
What age group of people comes to you for the support?
Okay, so our ages go from it's mainly over 18s, and there is no age limit really. From 18 to 80. There's such a broad range of people that come. But then we have child psychologists who work with children. So within schools, and so it's a broad range. But actually, in counselling, then we try to keep it between 18 and no upper age limit, to work within our services. But again, like I say, we do work with children. We have child psychologists that work with us, and so they're we a full spectrum of age.
Great. So, do you find difference in people who lives in Bali and in other countries? Because the Bali is a tourist place where the environment is so good, so beautiful. And do you find difference in mental health in people who live in Bali and some other countries?
Yeah, I think we try. Of course, there are differences. There's difference in communities. There's difference in the way that we've been brought up. There's things that we've been exposed to. The Western world, for example, has been exposed to a lot more, a lot faster. And so, and we can look at that, but actually we don't. We just look at the person. There are, of course, there's differences. But again, when we go back to what's really important is whatever's going on for the person is relevant to that person, and that's what we're here to help. So we can't judge or look at the differences between communities, islands, countries. We just have to look at the person as a whole. I think that's so important.
Great. So, in your entire experience, what you have learned actually about mental health?
Oh, so much, so much. Um, So beginning, obviously with my own mental health problems, I didn't understand those for so long, and so from learning about myself, and finding peace, within, some of my behaviors, some of the things that happened to me was the first step. And then, working with other people, going through education, learning different aspects of mental health, you know, one of the most one of the most rewarding and exciting things that I've learned is around the polyvagal theory. It's around the autonomic nervous system, and why our bodies react the way they do, and what we can do, to help, bring ourselves back into regulation. And it's been a game changer, really. When we're looking at mental health conditions, we're looking at traumas, we're looking at abuse, so many different aspects. It makes so much sense. Our body is reacting to an event that's previously happened. And we don't really understand why it's reacting the way it is in the present day. And so when we can educate people around that, and so they get a deeper understanding of that, wow, that's so different. I mean, we've heard of the terminology fight, flight, and freeze, for example. Well, this is our nervous system, and we quite often we find that people are stuck in fight and flight. They're hyper aware, they're hyper aroused all the time, and so they're constantly scanning for danger. There is no danger in that present moment, but their brain is telling them, and their nervous system is prepared for danger all the time because they've gone through an event where they got stuck. And so, this is, that in itself can be, incredibly exhausting. And without any understanding of it, it's just happening. But once people start to really understand on a deeper level, they understand that what's going on with the body, in fight or flight, the blood is being rushed to the lungs and to the heart, and to the muscles. So it's because you're getting ready to run, you're getting ready to run from the lion, and so all the time when we're kind of in that, we don't understand what's going on. And when we're in fight or flight, the logic part of the brain starts to close down, and we start to, just be in survival mode. So an event happens, and it may only be a small event in that moment, but our brain is telling us that it's this huge life-changing event, and we need to be in survival mode. So we act and react in ways that we potentially wouldn't normally. We shut down, which is the freeze. And there's so many things that, so many aspects to that. This is a whole new subject, a whole new topic. It could go on for hours. But I think that the important part of that is knowing that, that when people understand that, it makes such a big difference in them being able to start to self-regulate. So.
Uh, So why do you think, I mean, have you, because you have been into mental health from long time and you have been solving problems of different humans in this profession and understanding what exactly they're going through. And have you understood, because the connectivity between the brain and the body, the thoughts and ideas which has no form and the body which has a physical form. Have you ever thought that like why this nature created this species called human and having the physical structure, having a formless process and ideas and why this is there and what is the reason for the existence, the purpose of life?
Mm, mm. I mean, so this is all part of our reptilian brain. The oldest part of our brain is the survival part of our brain. So, we're all animals at the end of the day, right? So when, it's what if you kind of looked at this as the lion out in the Sahara, is drinking from the water hole, right? Sorry, not the lion. The gazelle is out in the Sahara. It's drinking from the water hole, but it knows that there's lions out there, and lions are going to kill them. So when we look at our animal instinct, you know, it's survival. So while the gazelle's drinking, you know, its ears are perked and it's looking, you know, it's looking around, it's scanning, constantly scanning for the lion. It doesn't see the lion to begin with, but it senses it's there. And so it becomes on high alert. You know, that's when our autonomic nervous system goes into fight or flight, and it's on high alert. And so, you know, we're heading into that, and then it sees the lion, and immediately it doesn't think, oh my God, there's a lion, I need to run. You know, the logic shuts down in the brain, and the survival, you know, instinct begins. So it just runs. Now, right now, you know, the gazelle is running for its life. The lion's giving chase, and at some point, you know, and this is in fight or flight now, and so in some point, you know, the gazelle realizes it's not going to outrun the lion, and so it will flop. And you see this in nature documentaries all the time, you know, where you know, the animal will flop down, and you know, the lion will kind of roll and, you know, grab it round the throat. Right now at that moment, that animal is limp, you know, and it's literally lifeless, but it's not dead. You know, it's gone into freeze, which is the shutdown. So all of the nervous system is completely shut down. And so, you know, the lion will then drag the gazelle up, you know, under a tree, hopefully, you know, to catch its breath back. And the survival mechanism that we all have is that what happens then, hopefully for the gazelle, is that the lion will hear a noise or something and will look away. The gazelle will jump up and run. The lion's not going to chase it again because it's still catching its breath back. And that is, you know, in a nutshell, that's kind of what's going on with our autonomic nervous system, with our survival instincts. All of these things are happening to us every day in our lives. You know, we go from active alert to fight or flight to freeze and to fawn, and we go into all of these different stages multiple times a day. So beginning to get a deeper understanding of that and recognizing where your nervous system is at any moment is, you know, is vital, I believe. And it makes so much sense that people are, once they recognize it, they can see what's happening in the body. You know, they're starting to breathe in the upper part of their chest, you know, not fully, you know, taking full breaths, you know, their blood pressure is rising, their heart rate is rising, you know, they're starting to get that feeling that they can't speak because the logic is shutting down, you know, all of those things. But, you know, when without any understanding, you're actually criticizing yourself because you're like, well, what's going on? Why am I acting this way? You know, but we have to find that compassion to self. So in those moments when we're able to explain it and people are able to go, right, okay, I'm recognizing I'm breathing in the upper part of my chest. I need to take some deep breaths, you know, and you know, we start to find compassion to ourselves, and that way we can work through this stuff. So right now, my role now here in Indonesia is to, you know, to educate and train, and so what I'm able to do is you know is give that knowledge to Indonesian counselors and psychotherapists, and to enhance what they already do and what they already give, you know, so to add those aspects into it.
So do you provide online support as well?
Yes, yeah, we support as well. Yeah.
I'll put your web link in the description of this video, also on the screen as well, and also on my website as well. People who find you know, this video and this audio anywhere on the internet, I'm able to send you and see you and can see the support that you're giving and the way you're solving the problems that may help people who can are searching for it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, that's, you know, this is what we're trying to do. We're raising awareness, you know, and again, you know, like I said before, with Shuffler and Strides, this is a huge charity here, you know, that are able to support us with that, and we're able to, you know, to raise awareness, and you know, throughout social media is a good way to be able to channel that, and you know, and that's how we grow. in today's, when you asked earlier about social media and technology, I mean, it's with us, and we can use it in a positive way, like I said, and this is to raise awareness. So the more that we can do that, the more people that follow us, the more education that we can give on a wider spectrum, and it can become worldwide. What you're doing is amazing, and you're getting an insight into so many different areas of people's lives, of their careers, from all aspects, and so you're raising awareness of what's out there, and you're gaining that knowledge and that that diversity, which is just fantastic. So
Yeah, that's what my last question is. As an expert, as a mental health expert, as a psychotherapist, as a person who is into uh, understanding the human problems and solving it by giving them the space and uh, giving them and letting them know that you have somebody to listen to your problems and yeah, here to solve your problem. So as you have this much of exposure, so what's your observation about my work? You have seen my work as a mental health expert. What do you think that you have observed, and what do you think I'm going to learn with this, and how this is going to be useful for the planet?
mm, okay, so I mean, I'm learning from you. I'm relatively new to social media in the aspects of being able to share a message. What you're doing is, you've created so much, and you've shared so much, and so I you actually inspire me in this area. So, but actually, this is the passion. It's about, what we find is as well, and when we do a mental health awareness training course for Shuffle and Strides, for example, we do it once a month, right? And each month we have 40 people that come. Now, every one of those persons that come, the message that they receive affects a minimum of three other people. So that's a minimum of 100 people that have got the message, and have heard about, mental health awareness, and so the message continues. The social media, impact of that is huge too, to be able to share that message to a worldwide audience. And that's what I aspire to. We're a long, long way off from that right now, but that's what I aspire to. And you're already doing that in bucket loads. So I appreciate what you do, and I admire what you do, and you inspire me. Your microphone's muted. I don't know if you know.
Yeah. Okay. So can you hear me? Yeah. So I have done master's in software engineering, also bachelor's in computer science and engineering. Right now, I'm working as a DevOps engineer for a UK company. So that's my full-time role. So apart from that, interviewing experts like you for working in different professions and for from different parts of the world and for solving different kinds of problems and for being in different industries, uh, coming from completely different backgrounds and for from different age groups, for coming from different uh, 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 experiences. So what I'm going to learn, interviewing the completely different kind of people on the planet and how it is going to be helpful for me in my career.
Fantastic. I'm so pleased that you're able to to experience these things, and like I say, from so many different diverse backgrounds and diverse industries. I can see that you're a sponge, that's soaking it all in. So I appreciate being able to talk to you today, and being able to offer you some insight into what we do. And I hope that if ever you're in a position where need to talk or want to talk, that you know that there's something out there, and I'm not saying, specifically us, but, there's, to have an insight into mental health is to understand it and to empathize with it and to find compassion in self. So I think if I can share that message with you, for you today, and just say, I wish you all the best for what you do, and you're doing an amazing job. So
Thank you. Thank you very much, Matt. Can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
absolutely, yeah.
And also, can I put this audio and video clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Yes, please do. If you put it on Instagram, could you? I'd love to collaborate. If you could collaborate.
Definitely, I'll tag you after
Yes.
posting it.
Yeah. And do you kind of, how do you do this? Do you edit? Do you edit it and use
Yeah,
different
I'll edit
parts?
it. Yeah, I'll edit it and I'll make it. I'll put everything, with the names and everything. I'll post, then I'll publish it and I'll let you know. I'll share
Fantastic.
you the link.
All right. Fantastic. Absolute pleasure talking to you today, Sai. Genuinely mean that. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for, for wanting to talk to me. I really appreciate it. So,
definitely. The purpose of this talk is to help someone who will be looking for some kind of a support. Even if one person gets benefit, from what you have said till now, that will be a great contribution as a human, for the humanity, no matter which part of the planet they belong to. They are looking for the support, and you are just giving them the hope that I'm here to help you. So will be the contributor, and I'll be the, putting just
yeah,
on the medium or the platform to let them know an expert who is available for you and solve your issue.
fantastic. And it's my motto, one person at a time, and that's it. It's just one person at a time. We make a difference to one person, then we've made a difference, right? And so,
Yeah.
excellent. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much again,
You're
Matt,
welcome.
for your
Okay.
valuable time and for
You're
your
welcome.
valuable experiences. Yeah.
My pleasure. My pleasure. All right. Take care, Si, and enjoy your day. I'll speak to you soon.
Take care, sir. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.